In Singapore, under the blinding lights of Marina Bay, McLaren's dream season took a dark and unexpected turn. What was once a team united in pursuit of glory suddenly became a battleground of pride, frustration, and rivalry. The orange team that had been praised for its unity and progress now finds itself on the brink of an internal meltdown. It all began when Lando Norris made an aggressive move on his teammate Oscar Piastri, an overtake that left fans stunned and experts questioning McLaren's integrity. No penalty, no team orders, and no accountability. The collision wasn't catastrophic, but the damage it caused went far deeper than the surface. It wasn't just about paint traded on the track, it was about trust shattered within the garage. Piastri's furious radio message, "Are we cool with Lando just barging me out of the way?" echoed around the world, capturing the disbelief of millions of fans. What was supposed to be a night of celebration became the moment McLaren's unity cracked under pressure. Team boss Zak Brown brushed it off, saying they were letting them race, but many believed that decision might haunt the team for the rest of the season. Formula One pundits, including Martin Brundle, have warned that the relationship between the two young stars may never recover. Once that bond is broken, it rarely heals. McLaren's carefully built chemistry, the secret weapon behind their rapid rise, now appears to be collapsing in real time. What happened in Singapore wasn't an isolated flashpoint. It was the explosion of tension that had been quietly simmering inside McLaren's garage for months. Earlier in the season, Piastri was seen as McLaren's calm and collected prodigy, the driver who brought balance and precision to a team finally ready to challenge Red Bull. He delivered consistent performances, racking up crucial points and proving he could hold his own against the very best. But slowly, the tide began to shift. Strategy calls started to tilt in Lando Norris's favor. The British driver, long considered the face of McLaren's modern era, appeared to receive subtle advantages: better pit timing, favorable tire calls, and priority on new parts. For fans and insiders, it raised uncomfortable questions. Was McLaren truly giving both drivers equal treatment? Or had they quietly decided who their number one was? The cracks became visible at the Italian Grand Prix. A slow pit stop for Norris led to an awkward team order. Piastri was told to hand the position back. At the time, it seemed harmless, a simple call in the name of team strategy. But in hindsight, it was the moment that Piastri began to doubt his team's fairness. From that point forward, their relationship began to cool. The tension was hidden behind polite smiles and post-race handshakes, but inside the garage, everyone knew something had changed. Then came Singapore, the night everything erupted. With McLaren on the verge of clinching a crucial result in the Constructors' Championship, the unthinkable happened. Norris lunged down the inside of Piastri, forcing the Australian wide and off his line. It was a move filled with aggression and desperation, the kind of maneuver you expect between bitter rivals, not teammates. While the contact was light, its implications were heavy. McLaren's golden rule, no contact between teammates, had just been broken. After the race, the silence from the team spoke louder than any statement. Piastri's frustration boiled over, and the lack of any reprimand for Norris only fueled the speculation that McLaren had picked their side. Zak Brown maintained his stance, saying, "We're letting them race," but many saw it differently. In Formula One, neutrality can sometimes look a lot like favoritism. Former world champion and Sky Sports pundit Martin Brundle didn't mince words. He warned that this rivalry could irrevocably change the relationship between the drivers. History supports his claim. When teammates turn into enemies, chaos usually follows. Senna and Prost, Hamilton and Rosberg, every example ends the same way. Broken trust, shattered partnerships, and lost championships. Behind the scenes, things reportedly got worse. Insiders claim that Piastri disconnected his team radio after the race and skipped McLaren's post-race celebrations. While the team partied after securing the constructors' title, Piastri quietly left the paddock alone, a powerful image of isolation. Former McLaren driver David Coulthard criticized the team's handling of the drama, comparing it to the infamous tension during his own time with Mika Hakkinen. Coulthard emphasized the importance of emotional fairness, saying that in Formula One, a driver's trust in their team is as crucial as the performance of the car itself. Once that trust is gone, the entire structure begins to crumble. And just when fans thought things couldn't get more dramatic, a bombshell report from Swiss outlet Blick sent shockwaves through the paddock, suggesting that Piastri might already be eyeing a move to Ferrari after the 2026 season. On paper, that sounds impossible. Piastri signed a long-term extension with McLaren earlier this year, believed to keep him with the team until at least 2028. But Formula One contracts have always been fragile, full of performance clauses and exit options. If the relationship between Piastri and McLaren deteriorates further, the Australian could have a legitimate way out. The timing adds more intrigue. With the 2026 regulation overhaul approaching, many teams are re-evaluating their driver lineups. Ferrari's current pairing, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, might not be permanent. Leclerc's patience with Ferrari's inconsistency is running thin, while Hamilton's contract reportedly includes an option to exit in 2027. If either one moves on, Ferrari could be looking for fresh blood, and Piastri's name has already been whispered in Maranello corridors. For McLaren, this is a nightmare scenario. What was once the strongest young driver pairing on the grid could now become the team's biggest liability. Norris, riding high from recent podiums, is closing the championship gap, while Piastri has stumbled in form, finishing behind his teammate in the last 3 races. But to label Piastri as cracking under pressure would be an oversimplification. What we're seeing could be something deeper, a talented young driver feeling betrayed by the very team that promised him equality. Zak Brown's decision to stay neutral might seem like strong leadership, but in reality, it risks creating long-term chaos. Formula One history has shown us what happens when internal rivalries are left unchecked. Senna and Prost's battle destroyed McLaren's dominance in the late 80s. Hamilton and Rosberg's feud nearly split Mercedes in half. The parallels are undeniable. McLaren now stands at a crossroads. As the F1 circus heads to Austin, every camera will be trained on the McLaren garage. Every handshake, every glance, every body language cue between Norris and Piastri will be dissected. Fans will watch closely to see whether the two can coexist or whether the tension will spill over again. The psychological war inside the team is now as important as the on-track battles. McLaren's long-awaited return to the top was supposed to be their redemption arc, but instead, internal politics, egos, and mistrust threaten to undo everything they've built. This isn't about Red Bull or Ferrari beating them. It's about McLaren defeating itself from within. If Piastri's frustration continues to grow and Ferrari truly makes an approach, McLaren could lose more than just a driver. They could lose their future. Norris may be their star today, but Piastri represents their long-term stability, a driver built for the next generation of Formula One. Letting that slip away would be catastrophic. As we move closer to the next race in Austin, the question remains, will McLaren take control before it's too late? Or will they let the chaos run its course and watch their season, and possibly their future, implode? The choice lies with Zak Brown and Andrea Stella. Either they reassert leadership and rebuild the trust between their drivers, or they risk joining the long list of great teams that collapsed under the weight of internal rivalry. McLaren's rise this season was built on teamwork, innovation, and unity. But as Singapore showed, those values can disappear in a flash when ambition turns to aggression. If McLaren wants to be a true championship contender, they must first fix what's broken inside their own walls. Otherwise, the only thing they'll be racing toward is self-destruction.